Hello and welcome to the final session of Delta Green Divergence. And this session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming club / community. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. This is the 12th session of our series, and we are taking up with our team on site, getting ready to head in. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I will be your handler for this session. Are there any logistical things we need to take care of? Everybody's done the refresh.
The refresh? No, I haven't done the refresh, I don't think.
Yeah, so 3 general or 1 investigative push.
I don't think I spent anything last time.
Yeah, it was a very
from,
low spend session last time.
Okay.
So at this point, we have a largish compound, some buildings together, some spread apart. There's a motor pool. This is relatively flat land out here in Nevada, and highways kind of, or probably back road highways kind of mark out the perimeter of this. There's some fencing, some entryways in. It is adjacent to federal land, which the church has somewhat taken possession of. And that's where that mound is. And there is a gap between that mound area and the compound proper itself. There are probably a dozen total buildings on the compound site, but that ranges from like a barn to maybe the motor pool petrol shed, to dormitories and maybe some administrative and temple buildings there.
Before, there was one logistical thing that's just occurred to me.
Yes.
I did ring up agent, the ATF agent who was going to be part of this.
Oh yeah.
I would like Abraham to send me all the prep that he did for the raid that got called off.
Interesting. Let's have you roll with that network you've got on him.
Okay. I think we did it with an agency spend last time.
Oh, did you?
I don't have him as a network.
Okay. No. So make an agency spend. So I'm going to say that
I'm happy to make 2 if it helps.
Well, I think most of what he's got is maps and marked out potential hot zones. You will notice that the dormitories, the housing are kind of spread out in several different places around the compound, almost kind of forming a perimeter around the outside. And so right now, your brother, Peter, isn't it? Is like they are moving into position to get their team at a place that's going to give them the best sort of field of fire in between. Everybody has flak jackets on. That is armor 1. It reduces projectile or other sort of physical damage by 1 point. Just as a heads up on that. If you have your various M16s, assault rifles, whatever, when you want to go to fire, we'll talk about what burst and full auto look like in the system. We can also talk about grenades. Grenades are used with athletics, and incendiary rounds. So incendiary rounds don't do extra damage. They do have an additional effect. They can ignite things. The other thing that they do is they increase your hit threshold against a target once you've hit them. But they also increase your hit threshold. Like it's easier to hit you and it becomes easier to hit them. So That's what you've got right now. Does that seem like reasonable sense, Gene? We can, if we need to, we can say we can kind of flash back to that prep.
I just wanted mostly to give the fictional positioning to maybe know as much as a team who's surveilled the place might know, and prep and everything. So I wanted to give you license to tell us more than you might have done otherwise when describing things, essentially.
Absolutely. It is a compound that has learned the lessons of Waco, that has learned the lessons of Ruby Ridge and other locations. You guess that the external buildings are probably, those walls are fortified on the far outside edge, concrete poured into the walls to try and make it more of a kind of a bunker, but also potentially putting hostages, men and women, children, closest to the line of fire to become a human shield. I think that you can probably determine sort of the three key buildings in terms of like where possibly there's materials. There is a gathering hall that is probably the temple, but it's also the dining hall. There's a building that is probably Stanley's like living quarters and maybe admin offices. And then there's a larger sort of temple building. So Jim, you are going to drive this excavator
That's
up.
the bad boy.
Okay. And I assume that you are waiting until gunfire starts on the compound, right?
Yeah, so hopefully it'll, dull the sound of the engine clocking over.
So you'll start hearing that in the distance, the sound of gunfire, lights come on, and you can start to see in the distance because you're to the east of the compound, but you can see the distance, motion and movement going on. Let's have you make a drive or mechanics roll to successfully breach.
Well, I was
tunnel.
Thinking, would I not be driving the flatbed truck and then he's driving the?
Oh, I'm assuming the flatbed is up. I'm not even going to make you roll. You guys spent some time on that, so this is it. The flatbed rolls up. The excavator gets dropped off. At that point, you've forgotten about the flatbed. It's just
it's cover. We
cover.
pull it up as cover, and obviously the doctor and Rajavi are on the back with their.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to create a temp pool with architecture.
Okay.
One spender, because clearly it'll sort of allow me to know about the lay of the land, soft earth, that sort of thing. And I will throw all that three into a roll of drive.
Okay.
Let's see how well that goes. D6 rolling. I rolled a 5 plus 3. That gives me a total of 8.
8. So you will get up to the position that you've got marked on this, and you will hit and start tearing stuff out of the ground. And there will come a point at which you will crack through, and you kind of have to quickly throw it into reverse as a section comes crashing down. It's maybe 6, 7 at most feet below the ground, not even that much before you crack this tunnel.
Is it a buried sort of concrete tube, or is it more just excavated tunnel, as in with props, that sort of thing?
Well, it's not concrete. So gunfire going on off in the distance. For this particular section of this, Horse, would you roll me a d6?
You're muted.
A 3. Okay. Okay. So kind of the start, sort of even exchange. They're trying to suppress. You instructed them to do that. You maybe hear an explosion as somebody's throwing, a grenade to create a damage. And the four of you are standing over this hole, and a quick flashlight down into here. The tunnel itself is about 20 feet high. It's much bigger than you thought it was. And the other thing is that when you get it cracked open, it's kind of cool. You know how the desert, like at night, we switch from being hot to that cool. Well, you can feel the waft of hot air come out of this tunnel as you do that.
What does it smell of?
What
Biology,
is it?
chemistry, spend, even pharmacy.
I think there's definitely a smell of like an organic chemistry lab, like that mix of weirdness, of slight rot and other substances. It's not the crisp necessarily smell of like a pure chemical lab.
If I made a spend from technical, would that give me some comparison to the smell either in that room with the caged people or what was wafting up the corridor from where the others went and I never did?
Here, I don't think you need to make a spend. The smell is not like a fetid cage of human people, nor is it that sort of burning smell that you got from that hot room that they lit on fire.
Okay.
I will turn to Jean and say, it's a dry heat. And then we'll go in.
Before we go in,
yes,
can I perhaps use my spend a point of notice to create a pool for sense trouble, perhaps sort of rolls? Would that work?
I don't think that's particularly I think notice we'll use for clues. Also, your mic has done something weird.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. But cool. I had to ask.
And I think that's fair. You will look down, and the thing that will strike you is that the light catches on whatever this material, this tunnel is made out of. And it seems crystalline, like thick glass that like moves from being milky to being kind of pinkish to being more milky again. But it definitely catches and reflects the light when you shine down into there, and kind of really like almost amplifies the light. Who's going down first?
Probably Susan.
Okay. Susan.
That was not the answer I expected as I look at Jim.
I mean, again, I think it's is it one of those cases where Jim and Jean are both getting ready to go and Susan steps through like on a mission, and we both look at each other like
kind of
Susan.
slide down through the rounded edge of this thing. I think it'll strike you as how sharp the shards are. And as the light kind of catches as you're down in here, kind of move it, and you'll realize that the glass itself is textured. And it's textured with tiny mouths and hands, and maybe faces and eyes in places. I think that's a 1 point stability just for the unnervingness of it. The other thing is, you will realize that Jim was incredibly incorrect. It is not a dry heat down here. It is a very wet, moist, one might even say pregnant heat here, as you feel that go, like there's definite humidity.
Susan will turn to both sides, checking if there's any kind of movement, and then cover the side that faces the compound.
Okay. Sit, cover. It's quiet both directions. The rest of you can come down into here.
Did we think about mound compound? I'm just thinking that someone with demolitions needs to go in either direction.
I have a cunning plan there, Marcus. A quick check with my iPhone, which has a built-in spirit level, as all good iPhones do. Is there any natural lean to the tunnel at all? As in,
Lean.
is the mound
Gradient.
further downhill, or is the compound, or is it dead flat?
That's a good question. Let's see.
One question would be, do we all take one point of stability as we see these mouths and eyes and faces?
Yes.
I suppose.
There's a
you can
slight
roll.
gradient down towards the mound side.
Okay, here's a thought. We empty about 420 litres of fuel out of the digger. It should run downhill towards the mound. Clearly, going back down there isn't going to work after we set it on fire. But now we've created an exhaust here. We shouldn't sort of suffer any fumes problems. What do people think?
I think we need to see what's underneath the mound. We need to see.
Stay on mission. The mission was to kill him, not the
mission's
mound.
fucked.
Okay, quick. Left or right? Towards the compound or towards the mound? I say stay on mission, kill him. What's down there in that? Let's try and burn it out first.
I'm staying with Jim because I think Gene's losing it.
Gene?
Okay, yeah, you're right, Jim. We need to make him pay if he's in the compound.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck
Okay.
what's the mound then.
Let's quickly stab that fuel tank or maneuver it as close as we can. So we get tons of fuel go down into the hole. It should be diesel. So it's not the world's most, if somebody has a quick scratch or anything, it's not going to go up.
Sure. That feels like a challenging mechanics roll because the edge of this tunnel is kind of fragile at this point, and you need to move the excavator up close to be able to get that fuel tank to get any kind of spray.
But we'll lose most of it in the soil.
So you'll get some, and it is a distance to the mound. But this is more the mechanics of getting the fuel out into there. Who wants to make the mechanics roll for that?
I'm willing to make a mechanics roll. I've got mechanics 2. Tell you what, I'll spend all of that.
That sounds like a
Unless
plan.
somebody else don't want to steal the limelight. I drove. If somebody else wants to do it, no?
No, I think this is definitely all Jim.
I mean, I can't imagine any other occasion on which Marcus is going to use mechanics, but no, go for it.
You don't know what to do to get out of here.
Here we go, rolling. Let's see what we get. We get a 4 plus 2 gives us a 6.
So I think you can get a good amount out into this, and you've got a distance to go. You'll be able to create a fire. It's not going to inferno, but you've also done it in such a way that none of you are sprayed down by excess diesel here.
Okay, and the glass types thing, I mean, is it absorbing the diesel, or is it actually quite a good sort of hard layer and it's just flowing down out of sight?
It does seem to be moving down the tunnel for the moment, yes.
Okay, as soon as the tank is drained, I think...
So let me ask you this. Now, gunfire going on. So you had to stop, get this thing moved over, get this punctured, get it set, and now you're waiting for it to drain.
The rest of us need to head. The rest of us need to head, and Jim can follow.
Okay. Are you heading above ground, you three, or are you heading through the tunnel?
Through the tunnel.
Okay. So the three of you will take off, start moving down. One of the things you'll find is that very difficult to sprint here. You have to move carefully because it is rounded. It is glass and it is humid. So you will find your balance step sliding a bit as you are moving along there. But
it will
you've definitely
tend to
got
move us into single file.
yes, pretty
With
close.
Gene
to
at the front and Marcus at the back.
Susan at the front.
Who's at the front?
Susan, I believe.
Mhm.
Unless Susan says otherwise, I'm going to assume that Susan's going to be in front because, yeah.
Susan's very impatient during the whole, fuel thing. She wants to get to the core of this.
I think maybe that's the reason why we set off so quickly, is because Susan just starts off down the corridor tunnel, right? And we're like, fuck,
Cool.
come on, guys.
Then Paul, could I have you roll me a d6?
Certainly. I rolled 2.
2. Okay. Not going so well up top. Susan, could I please have you, are you more concentrating in sprinting, running fast, or are you more concentrating on trying to not make noise, trying to be more cautious, trying to be more stealthy?
Yeah, more stealthy, I think.
Okay. In that case, can I please have you make a stealth check here?
I do a stealth check and I invest 3 points. No, 2 points. 2
Okay.
points. And modifier is 2. Let's go. That's a 4.
That is a 4. Could I now have you make a sense trouble roll?
Let's see. Trouble. I spent 2 as well. This is another
4.
Another 4.
So you've gotten a little ways ahead of the others. You took off. They're coming up behind. And there is a moment when you're kind of moving through this section. You guess you're maybe halfway to the compound, but again, you don't know exactly where the tunnel lets out there. And it might break into a couple of different things. There might be underground section. You kind of maybe suspect that that's the case. And there is this weird thing with the light when you're going along where it's moving and it's catching and it's doing this weird phosphene off of the walls as you go along. And the walls like get kind of hard to look at. But you are walking along and then the walls constrict on you. And I am going to make an attack roll against you. Let's see. I think this will spend 3. So
Is that locally? So could I try to jump ahead or back?
if your sense trouble had been better, yes, you could.
Okay.
You will take a 3 health damage as the walls suddenly grab into you. And the walls are warm and rubbery as they do. What you will see, Marcus and Jean, is you will see the walls, a section of it peel off. Maybe like it's a circular, like esophageal section of the walls, maybe 6 or 7 feet long, that just peel off, and this white milky thing wraps up Susan, and she drops to the ground. That's a 3-point stability check for you two.
Does the vest?
The vest will not protect against the suffocation.
I thought.
You will have to remind me how the stability works. I can never.
So
remember.
you can take the 3. Actually, no, you have to roll. So it's a difficulty 3 stability test right now. Okay. And
I'm spending
just
2,
okay.
and I'm going to roll, and that's a 5.
Okay.
I mean, I was guaranteed to succeed if I spent 2, right? Just
Yeah.
mitigated it by 1 point, essentially.
So
Alan,
is there any advantage of doing better than just exceeding?
not on a stability test.
Okay, then I too will spend 2.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's a careful, marshaled husband use of your precious resources.
That is 2 plus 2 is 4.
Okay. So yeah, you will see Susan crashes down, and there is this thing, and you look around and you realize that the whole tunnel is kind of this white stuff, and you didn't see that it was any different than the rest of the tunnel when you saw this. What do you do, Gene?
I yell at the doctor to help her, and I start unloading my rifle into the wall.
Okay.
With my incendiary rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose that I need to try and cut an air hole, or I mean, has this peeled off and formed a kind of shell or kind of
Run
rubber?
up. It's this what looks like a thick, white, milky, rubbery, living thing that has grabbed and is like, you can see it's like kind of wrapped like a straitjacket around, but you can see where her eyes, face, and ears are because it's trying to push in through those.
Okay. And so I suppose if I can find her jaw,
Okay.
counterintuitively, I am going to try to open her jaw and put a scalpel in to create a breathing hole.
So I think you can make a medicine spend to give yourself a pool.
Okay.
To do the sort of standard action. This is not a particularly easy thing to do.
No. So I will take that 3 short term, and I will add all 3 to this. That is altogether a 7.
So altogether a 7. You will jam this thing into the rubber, and all you do is press it down into her mouth. It doesn't give. It seems resistant to this kind of physical thing. Agent Oliver, let's have you roll a firearms roll here.
Okay. I will spend, you know what, 3 points of firearms, because this is, I want to definitely fuck whatever this is up, right? Although, is there any benefit to succeeding by higher margins than?
If you succeed by a margin of 3 or better, then it might give you an additional benefit.
Okay, then I'll spend the 3 here. That's a good job I did, because that's only a 6.
Yeah. So I think you'll start spraying this into the walls here. It will hit that glass and shatter it, which means that there are shards of glass that are spraying around in here, along with those incendiary rounds that are hitting and kind of lighting up, and the chemical burn off of those. But I think as you spin around kind of a little bit slightly back of you, that section behind you will wheel off the wall and come roiling towards you. It has clearly got burning to it. That seems to be affecting it. That is certainly causing it problems, but
I kind of imagine like the bullets puncture through the glass, and then like the white ooze comes out like burning behind it, and then it boils out, right? Like on fire, kind of
comes out, and it's doing that kind of thing where it's roiling around the thing in a kind of spiral as it comes towards you. I'm going to come back to you 3 in just 1 second. A ways down the tunnel. So, Jim, you get the last of that fuel set. Got that set. And you're going to climb down. And how are you doing this? Are you just lighting it right here, or are you setting something up, or what?
I will fire a couple of incendiary rounds down the corridor at the floor, or where I
Okay.
think the floor is.
Absolutely.
While taking note that they have indeed left the black guy. Always leave the black guy, don't they?
Yeah. Well, just roll your firearms roll. Just don't roll a 1.
Okay, I will spend 1 in firearms then.
Okay.
Good whistle of the resources there. Here we go. Roll with me. D6. We rolled a 5 plus 1 gives us a 6.
So you are far enough back that when that catches, there's no backsplash of the heat, and it's just this line of petrol fire running down. It doesn't explode because it's spread out enough. It's not contained, but to definitely see a long line going down. And I think you will hear in the distance that way some kind of screeching.
Okay. I will turn up the corridor and shout fire.
And you're
in the
hearing
hole.
and you can see incendiary rounds being fired off down the corridor.
It's coming out of the goddamn walls.
That's what you hear. We'll come back to you in just one moment. Susan, what do you want to do?
My first question is, do I have to make a stability test as well? I mean,
I don't think you have the rational mind right now to realize exactly what's happening to you. For all you know, someone has hit you with a net gun.
okay, cool.
You don't yet realize. But then I think there is that moment when it starts like shoving down your mouth, shoving down your throat there, and you realize, yeah, this is a 2-point test now against helplessness.
Let's see. I do have to have a look at my research. Yeah, I still have 5, so it's better than the last 5 sessions combined, I think.
Yeah.
I will spend 2.
Okay. You really should only spend 1. You only need to spend 1.
Oh, okay. I will do that then.
Okay.
This is a 7. Wow.
You're great. You're fine. You got,
Not sure about
but
that.
what that isn't what's top of the mind. This being waterboarded by this ectoplasmic thing. What do you do?
I'm trying to grab, like, this is squeezing me, obviously. Are my arms, can I grab?
You have a little more mobility from the shoulders down because it's really concentrating on suffocating you.
So would it be possible, do I see Marcus?
You see nothing.
Shit. So I assume that I'm alone. Sorry,
You're
Marcus.
keeping your eyes closed because you can tell it's trying to press in under your eyelids.
So I will, if it's possible, I will try to maneuver the muzzle of the gun away from me as far as possible and then pull the trigger.
Okay. Can I have you roll me a d6?
Yes. And sorry, Marcus.
If I see that gun hand coming in my direction, I will have to restrain it. Because it would be silly for me to sit over the body while the gun moves towards me.
It is a 6, though.
Here's the thing. You push it back, and you will hear the poof, poof, as the gun goes off, and you'll see the flash of the muzzle burst. The bullets don't come through.
Is the thing in the, what's it called? In the
barrel?
muzzle? In the barrel?
No, it's just surrounding on the outside, and it is resistant to physical damage. Susan, please take 3 health. As essentially you fire off this hot, smoky, and there's that weird discharge, and you realize that you've now used up a good deal of the oxygen that you have in here, and you've got that smoke, and it's not giving.
It's -1 health. Do I lose consciousness?
You do not lose consciousness yet. However, you are in bad shape, which means that right now you can't make investigative spends.
Not that I wanted to.
Right. As well, you're a -1, rather have like a 1 increased difficulty to any general ability tests. Marcus, you see that the bullets don't even go through this thing, and you can tell that it's probably burned Susan in there badly.
Set a flare off and jam it against it where one of the ceramic plates on the flak jacket is.
Okay. So that feels like maybe athletics, melee, something like that. I think either of those will do.
Athletics, I think.
Okay.
I will spend 3 from athletics. What the hell? That is a whole 6. Jeez.
That is a 6. Roll me a d6. I don't think that's a d6.
That can't be right. Sorry. That is a 3.
3, 4. So there is this section that will like, it does not like that heat, and it will burn away there and kind of peels off. Susan, you're going to take 1 point of health, but you've got a section that is like opened up and exposed. Like, it does not like that flare. The problem is, of course, you can't really hold it that long to Susan, but you've got a gap. What do you do, Agent Oliver? This thing is coming towards you because you don't want to hang out this bad.
So it's sort of boiling up the tunnel, like towards
It's coming
us,
right towards you. Yeah.
And I'm sort of in front of these two who are like Susan's on the floor. And
they're behind you. You're between it and them.
I grab the explosive and start, and I'm gonna just throw it and try and blow it. Hit it with the explosive as it's boiling up the tunnel towards me. Probably danger close.
Absolutely. Could you?
But I know the bullets are not doing that much of an effect on this thing.
Yeah. This seems like a reasonable and interesting idea. Can I have you make a demolitions roll for me here? Just to like get it fast and get this lump of whatever activated and thrown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm spending all 3 of my points in demolitions.
Okay.
Because I definitely want to try and kill this thing.
Sure.
That's only a 4.
So explosives are an L1, meaning lethality 1 item, which means when it goes up, you will just absolutely incinerate it. Go to -12 health.
I'm caught in the blast. -12.
L1 means that if you roll a 1 when you do it, that's what the lethality is on that. What does that look like?
I think that it's boiling up right toward. I throw the thing and it swallows it, but it piles almost directly into me, and then it blows up as it's coming in. And I just go poof, back over Marcus and Susan.
Yeah, explosion. The 2 of you are probably thrown. I'm going to say that this is also going to significantly damage the one that's on Susan right now. I think there's this close enough blast that it's probably like will boil up to just being around the face there.
When you say -12 health, you mean I lose 12 health from my current health,
means you
right?
go to -12 health.
Okay, so just to understand the system, I rolled a 1 on the lethality dice.
Yeah. So with lethality is one of those things that kind of changes and breaks the system. That if you get hit by an object attack that is lethality 1, you roll a 1. It will cause that effect to take you right away to -12. Now,
I see.
What I'm going to allow you to do is let's just take it as a subtract to 12, because it feels like jumping to the -12 would be just horrendous at this moment and so early. So what is your standard health?
8.
Okay, so go to -4 health.
Okay.
And let's see. And while you're not unconscious, you are badly injured. You cannot spend for investigative skills from the pain, and you are at -1 general. Jim, you are running along the hall, and then there is an explosion up ahead, and you kind of get knocked back to the wall by the force of that. It's loud, and as you're running up, you will see a smoldering Agent Oliver kind of splayed out against the hallway. You will see Marcus wrestling with a flare with Susan, and this white like hood that's undulating around Susan's head.
With the speed of a sprinting gazelle, I would like to use first strike and try and rip this thing off Susan's head. Don't know if it falls under first strike, but it is my first strike.
I will let you try this. I think it's a significant difficulty to do this. I'm going to set the difficulty at 8.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Okay,
now,
that's fine.
It's 8. I'm going to say that if you roll a 6 or 7 total, then you will get it off, but you're taking a certain portion of Susan with it.
Okay. I sort of do want to succeed. To save Susan.
Me too, Paul.
I don't do things not to succeed. Okay, so 4 from there and 1 from there. So I'm going to get +5 on that dice roll. Let's see what we get.
That's a
I
6.
rolled a 6 +5, 11.
Susan, yeah, kind of choking. You feel this burning, and then you're thrown by this explosion, kind of reeling from that when comes off. And that's the point at which you'll see this writhing flesh, white sheen thing that is struggling in Jim's hands. So that will be a 3-point stability test.
For me.
For Susan.
Oh, okay. Or we could have, can I have the sort of the inverse of Susan's sort of face, and sort of as if it's got a bit in her throat and Susan can see it?
Absolutely. And its mouth is moving.
I will spend 1, I guess.
Okay.
Let's see, stability.
Keep in mind, you can spend yourself negative.
I'm at, when I spend the 1, I'm at 3.
Oh, then you're great.
I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I hope. How much
Just
did I spend?
just don't roll a 1.
I don't want to. I did roll a 1 though.
So you're going to lose then 3. So +1 is 4 stability.
On top of the 1 that I just spent?
Yes.
Yes. Of course. That takes me to -1.
Okay. So right now, you are also like terrified and shaken as you see your own face made of flesh, its mouth and lips kind of moving and twisting there in your hands. I will give you an action though.
I mean, I'm not sure that Susan will do anything useful here. Instead, like screaming. Maybe it's in Jim's hand.
In Jim's hands, yeah. He also has a flare in the other hand. Or
Yeah,
that's actually Marcus has a flare.
Yeah.
Got that, Marcus? Burn this fucker.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm hoping Jim is going to throw it there. I'm just going to stab it with the burning flare and leave the flare then burning on it.
Susan, you want to try and get yourself out of the danger zone here?
No, she will, with shaking hands and, sweat pouring down her face, she will look with wild eyes around. We need to end this.
Marcus, let's have you make that melee attack roll.
Athletics, I think, was
that's fine.
where we ended.
That is more than fine.
Okay. Then I will spend Actually, no, I want to spend 3, don't I? Sorry, that should be 5, not 3. I keep putting the number I'm going to put in. +3. That is a total of 6.
6. That. Roll me a d6.
That's 2.
Okay. So I think between the initial flare attacks, the 2 shots of that, and the explosion, this thing will kind of let go. And the thing that will bother you, Marcus, is when you look at it, this isn't the same thing as that flesh you saw before. This is some kind of other creature.
This is I
In the distance.
I go to help Jean.
Okay. How much do you want to spend?
If I spend 5, that would get her at least to 0, wouldn't it?
So
4
I have
to
to
3 to 2 to 1 to 0 to +1, in fact.
let me check one thing. I think it's actually even better than that for you.
Oh, yes. If it's on somebody
Yeah,
else,
somebody
it's
else,
2
Marcus.
per, isn't it?
It's
So-
2 points per. So you can
Yeah,
spend
okay.
5 or 6.
I will spend 3
Okay.
to give her 6 back, taking her to +2 health.
Gene, what is that? What is that like? Like how? What is the bandaging or the servicing? Where are you right now mentally when this happens?
I think that like a big amount of the damage is like shock and concussion and everything, right? And I think that Marcus is like, and maybe has like a shot of adrenaline or whatever, and morphine, and so there's like there's like bits of me are like bruised and battered and broken. It's concussive force rather than like fire, right? But it's enough to like stim me back, and the adrenaline surges in, and I just like go sit straight back up again, and I go, "Is it fucking dead? Is it fucking dead?"
Yes, but this is not eternal flesh, right? This is something else. We've not seen anything like this before. But if this could come out of the walls, it seems to be anywhere, and you shooting the walls actually drew it out. So I mean, I'm slightly concerned of what's happened to the section of wall where the explosion went off.
I mean, you got, as you say that, it's got to go.
Yeah, the wall is cracking there.
Okay,
The superstructure.
Run. We need to get out of this tunnel into the compound and do what needs doing. Jim?
Well, clearly your first aid does take some time. So I am all for what you're doing, but while Marcus is doing that, I would like to do a similar thing with Susan.
Okay.
Not to the same degree that the good doctor did, but I would like, can I mix in a bit of psychotherapy and a little bit of first aid?
I think
So
you can do one or the other.
A bit of bandaging, sort of like, don't worry, Susan.
One
I got
or
it.
the other.
Marcus killed it.
Which do you want to do?
Let's go with first aid then.
Okay. So every point of first aid you spend will give Susan back a health.
I will spend 2 points, so Susan will get 4 points back.
Ooh.
So yes, me and Marcus, the first aid squad. Clearly mine takes a bit longer and isn't as good.
Lau, what is the effect of -1 stability though?
So when you're at -1 stability, you cannot make investigative spends. And right now, all of your general ability checks are at -1.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah. When you hit further than that, then it will become an issue. When you get to -6 to -11, you have shattered.
And
Also,
that is the fight, flight, and freeze.
So that was when we'll check that break state when you get to -6.
Okay.
Because it was a mix of unnatural and helplessness, I'm not going to reduce your maximum stability by 1. If
So I
it had
think
been all unnatural, it would reduce that.
When Jim does the first aid, she will pull him a bit closer with wild eyes and said, we need to finish this.
Totally agree, Susan, but stay close. Stay close. You know, you took the brunt of that attack, you know, in many ways. Just stay close. You know, I'm fresh. Just let me take the lead.
Gathering yourself together, and Jim, you're taking point now.
Yes, unless Marcus wants to.
Marcus is feeling pretty confident about this. He thinks he's
still
got a
feeling pretty
handle on
good.
this.
Yeah.
You know, flares work, fireworks. So we've got a tool to come at this. And I think even a taser might work. So yes. I guess the question is, how mobile are Susan and Jean at this point?
They
Plus
can.
2.
They're shaken, but they can move.
Okay, well then we need to move really quickly now. This is none of this stealth stuff. We just need to leg it up this tunnel.
And I think we'll see
I
the
think
four
stuff
of
went
you.
out of the window with the explosion, to be honest.
Exactly. So
And-
Marcus is going to run up the tunnel.
Carefully, because again, it still is slick and glassy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fall over unless he has to. I mean, you described it being textured sharp.
When it breaks, the pieces are sharp.
Okay.
So you're running along this milky
Making
glass.
as you know, fast, safe progress.
We will see what that looks like. But right now on camera, we see the four of you disappearing into the darkness ahead in the tunnel.
Torchlights.
Yeah, 20 feet tall, heading towards the compound. We will take our first break here, and then we will continue on. So, Dr. Evans, you're feeling pretty good, making your way along here, trying to keep the pace up as best you can. You know, the tunnel is even hotter now, and there is some venting from that break that you have. There's still a real smell of smoke and acridness down here, and you will hit the end of this hallway. Dr. Evans, could I please have you roll me a d6?
That is a 1.
Or backup forces.
So right now that's 5, 6. Okay.
Oh, this is poor Pete.
Yeah. So you will hit the end of this hallway, and this is where you actually hit concrete. Like there is a concrete frame, you know, with the bricks and the concrete bricks, and then the gap between it, and then there is a large, heavy metal fire door set in here. That looks like it's clearly intended to be kind of a blast door kind of thing, pretty heavy. But you're guessing it's probably a little more secured from the other side. It is locked though.
Mechanics, unlock it.
Okay, let's have you make that roll here.
And there was I saying I'd have no other use for mechanics. I will spend both those mechanics. Roll a d6. That is 6 plus 2 is 8.
Oh, yeah, it is no problem for you to get this open. And when you open it up, there's a like the roil of cold air, of cool air comes in. All of the sweat and humidity kind of immediately, you know, clings to you when you feel that in here. It's probably a relief for you, Jean, against your burns. And it'll open up into a concrete, largish room. There are a couple of benches in here, like maybe waiting benches or something, you're not sure. But that'll come out into another door that is not locked. And you can guess now that you were probably in like a basement, not too deep, of the compound. And you come out into what appears to be a kind of a crossroads room. There are tables, there are chairs here, and it looks like there are 3 hallways, one larger than the other 2. Jean, do you want to make a architecture or some other spend to like compare to the maps that you've got?
I think that's Jim rather than Gene, isn't it? Jim's our architect on this.
I am the only architect.
Oh, okay.
I will look at Gene struggling with the maps and say, give it here. I'll see what's going on.
Typical guy.
I will spend 1 from the technical pool and explain it to Gene what I think.
You'll mansplain it to me. Nice.
Well, actually, little lady, one of the hallways seems to go to the like main sort of gathering room, dining hall, chapel, and you're guessing probably maybe connects up to the other maybe dormitories and things. I think you will hear in the distance like some sound, like it's muffled, but maybe still some sound of fire outside. Another one of the hallways definitely goes towards what you've been reading as Art Stanley's like house, living quarters kind of thing. And then the other one, the bigger one, seems to go to the temple building.
Either he's in his house or he's in the temple. My money's on the temple. What do you guys think?
How much time has passed since the shooting started?
Or has the shooting stopped?
No, we're still getting some sound, but I think
Yeah.
it's tailing off, to be honest.
I'd say we're probably, given that, we're probably almost between 8 and 10 minutes since the initial start of the fire.
What a 10 minutes. We got the temple or his house. Are we going to split?
I think we have to split.
Mhm.
Who is going where?
I mean, given the condition that they're in, I think this probably means that Jim and I have to split up, and one of us goes with Susan and one of us goes with Jean, because they are not in good shape.
Susan wants to go to the to Stanley's private quarter. She thinks.
Then I think Marcus will go to the temple.
Jim, do you have a preference? Because we don't have to play.
I've got quite a large bond with Gene, so yeah. I think that would be my drive. But clearly, you're sort of
no. Go with it. Go with it.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid of confronting Stanley.
Yeah, I might get into your head, right? Like something else did.
Who is going where? I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow.
I think Susan and I are going to the Stanley quarters, and Jim and Jean are heading for the temple.
Mm-hmm. Doc, keep your eyes open. Shoot first.
Okay.
Shoot to kill.
I can do
Don't
this.
aim for wounds.
I can do this. As I
Of course
turn
you
away, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And then I see the wild look in Susan's eye, and there's kind of, oh shit. She is loose and running.
Susan, would you roll me a d6?
Of course. It is a 1. Another 1.
Okay. And then, Gene, would you roll me a d6?
That is a 2.
There's a 2. Okay. Let's start with Susan and Marcus. Are you moving along quickly? Are you worried about stealth at all?
I have a whole 1 in stealth. So I think I'll defer that question to Susan.
Yeah, Susan will, unless Marcus is stopping her, go take the lead again.
Okay.
And she's trying to be stealthy.
Let's have you make a stealth roll.
Let's see. I would like to spend another 2. And I get what is this? A 5? Yes.
Looks like a 5. You
Yeah.
will hit a corner where the tunnel kind of goes to turn, and you'll stop yourself, and you will see that the hallway kind of continues on, and it's open, and you can see that there's clearly the stairs down from above. There are shelves in there with like preserves, cans, kind of stockpile things there. And there is a guy with a shotgun at the bottom of those stairs, kind of standing watch. He's definitely heard the explosion. So like his attention might normally be upwards, but now his attention is going back and forth. But you can spot him and stop you and Marcus before that. What do you want to do?
Well, Susan will raise her hand to Marcus to stay back, and she will shoot to kill.
Okay.
Lean over. Let's see.
So go ahead and roll firearms.
I also want to spend 2.
Okay.
Oops. 2. Hold on a second. And roll. And there's a 7.
7. So that's that. And roll me a d6.
4.
So that is a 4. So that's the thing. This guy's standing there. You pop out and quick double tap shots there. And Marcus, you will see Susan paint the walls with this guy's brains. Splatters out there. Dr. Evans. What's your reaction when you realize that doesn't bother you at all?
I put it down to the fact that I've seen worse overseas, frankly.
Yeah. Okay. And I assume you follow up behind Susan?
Yeah, I did. As we were working our way along these corridors, though, I did want to be having just a bit of a conversation with Susan.
Okay.
About how she's feeling. This has been a really bad start, but we are our own masters and mistresses in this. We still have control, and I'd like to make a psychotherapy spend.
All right. So this is one of those cases where, because you're in a conflict situation, things like that, there is a difficulty we're checking against.
Okay.
So I think right now, Susan, what is your stability at?
-1.
Okay. So normally before -1, so difficulty is 5 right now.
And if I succeed on the roll, does that give me permission to spend?
What I'm going to say is, when you whatever you roll, and you're going to, if you succeed, at least clear 1 point of stability, and then everything else, if your margin of success afterwards is going to clear there.
Okay, well, there, you know, this is spend it or lose it. Who else am I going to do psychotherapy with? So I'm going to spend 6.
Okay.
Wow.
And roll a d6 plus 6 for 11.
Okay. So Susan, you can get back up to 6.
That's incredible. What do you say, Marcus?
Yeah, like what does it look like?
I think it's partly Marcus's kind of calm, quiet confidence that this has gone badly, but actually, you know, we are still in control of this, right? You know, you just demonstrated that, didn't you? That guy, he thought something had happened down these corridors, but you just dealt with it. And that's what this is all about, Susan. It's all about dealing with the now, right? Just stay in the now.
I think you're right, Marcus. Let's do this.
So I think if I'm not much mistaken, that puts stability to 5.
Or to 5, yeah. Or
Yeah, like what is it particularly that drags you back kicking and screaming to lucidity here, Susan?
well, it must be a mixture between Marcus, like he's obviously emanating confidence, and also mentioning that everything that happened before, the fact that she now lives alone, the fact that she was just you know, suffocated by the wall, that all disappears, you know, through the soothing words and his confidence, and she just focuses on the mission. It's probably more like pushing things away than really dealing with it, but it works.
Get yourself together, go in, and 2 of you heading up those steps into the first floor of this house.
And we're heading up side by side.
Okay. Dr. Evans, could you please roll sense trouble for me?
Let me see. Sense trouble. I will spend 3 from sense trouble. For a 5.
You get this weird, almost ecstatic feeling, just a kind of a lifting of your spirits and your soul, and you know that something's wrong. Like why are you spiking like this? Like you're a doctor, you have enough sense to know when something is wrong with you bodily.
Susan, you know, do you smell any weed or something like that I'm not picking up? Just I remember Jean describing the stuff that they were growing in that grow house. And I have to, I'm feeling a little high. Is there something in the air? Are you feeling it?
No.
Is that why you feel so much better now?
I can't say that I feel great, and I don't smell anything. Not sure what you're babbling about.
What if I make a medicine roll to kind of do a kind of formal, you know, check pulse, body temperature? Yeah.
Susan is definitely checking in the meantime her surroundings.
Okay. He's so Evans has stopped at the bottom of the steps here, and you're doing quick. I think, Doctor, you're in great shape. Your pulse is strong. Your body is healthy. It's even. It's regular.
It's just too regular, given the circumstances. I think I'm going to conclude that in all of this fracas, something, maybe that stuff burning. That's logical.
Mm-hmm.
That the burning of that not flesh stuff I'm going to connect that. Yeah, rationally. That's it. That's it. Burning that, some of those fumes. I must have got some of those fumes. And it's connected to whatever it was they were setting up in that grow house. That's it. That yeah. And I'm feeling pretty good that Susan's come back round.
Susan, moving up into the next floor.
Mhm.
Careful, door open, larger room, couple of doorways, couple of people in here, and your mom. I'm going to cut away from there.
Jeez.
Agent Oliver, Jim, you two are moving along this larger hallway. This is clearly headed more towards the center, and it's a little more open. So maybe you are getting a better sense of the sound of the conflict outside. Like, you don't like how it's going. There's not a lot of gunfire coming from further away. There's some closer gunfire, and you would guess that something has happened up there, not to your advantage.
We need to move quick, Gene.
Yeah.
Need to move quick.
Yeah. Well,
Looks
I'm
like-
trying. She says as she limps across.
And
Looks like Pete's out of the fight.
there is a set of sturdy stairs that have kind of a formal look to them that go clearly up into the main temple building. Who's taking point on the door here? Okay. And Gene, you're kind of standing back behind.
Cover. Yeah.
Okay. You will open it up, and you will see that there are maybe it's kind of a sort of a raised floor at this end here, like kind of a dais. You'll see that there are some tables and chairs around. It's kind of a clearer open area, open floor, like a rec room or a big gym kind of thing. And there are about a dozen people in there who kind of a few of them seem to be like, everybody keep calm, we're all good. And maybe another 8 or 9 that are kind of panicking.
Any of them armed?
All of the people there are armed. Even the shaken ones have pistols. The other ones probably have shotguns or rifles. Why don't you make a notice spend for me?
I most certainly will, as you dwindle that pool down even further.
Sure.
Done.
I think you can see amongst the dozen people, you would guess there are 3 of them who are legitimate, like you want to take them out. They're probably the most dangerous, like a little militia training, their stance and everything like that. There are then another 8. Let me count this right. 5 plus 8. Yeah. Sorry, 7 or so that they have guns, but they're panicked. They're clearly freaked out. They've fallen back to here. There might be a couple of them that actually are already wounded. And there are 2 people who are in here who are kind of standing at the wings, who have no guns, and they're not emoting at all.
I'd like to spend a point of note. Can I spend a point of notice? Yeah, I can, because I'm back up to plus positive health now, right?
Yep.
I'd like to spend a point of notice to see if I can identify either of those 2 people from any of our briefing, or anybody from our briefing.
Yeah, I think that is fair. I think that, like, you've gotten some surveillance pictures from the militia compound, and they've listed some like unsub senior people they've seen repeatedly throughout that they don't have names for. And these 2 definitely match them. Like, people that were picked up. They haven't been able to put a name to the face, but they've been around enough over the last 6 months, a year, that they're known to the ATF.
So we got a crowded room full of mostly non-combatants, some wounded people, and then these two stony-faced figures that we don't know who they are, but we recognize.
Okay, here's the quick battle plan. You go for the two stony-faced fuckers. I'll take out the people with a gun, maybe throw a flashbang in there, and I probably will try to use intimidation to cow the non-combatants. Sounds like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Execute.
All right. So one of you is presumably throwing the flashbang, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. You go ahead and make that athletics roll for me.
I will spend 2. That was a 1 though, so 3.
So I think you pop out to throw it, and I don't think it's that hard to throw this. But like there's that pause when you kind of step out and maybe you get delayed just an extra second longer, and people see you and start breaking in different directions there, and then boom, flashbang goes off. We're going to imagine that the 8 non-combatants with just the guns and stuff, they are put out of commission. But I think you've got a couple of hostiles with guns and these other 2 who aren't affected as much. What do you do, Gene?
I mean, as soon as that bang goes off, I'm around the corner, full auto.
Okay, so for full automatic fire, you have to spend at least 5.
Okay.
But you roll against their hit threshold, and for every 3 that you beat it by, you do an extra instance of damage.
Okay. And I can hit multiple people with the auto fire, is that correct?
Yeah, I think probably with the spray range you've got is that people are in different positions. You could probably hit at most 2 of them without like catching non-combatants. Or
I'm specifically aiming for the 2 senior figures.
Okay. They are different areas of the room.
Ah, shame. How many other combatants do we have?
I think you could probably, at most, you could probably hit the one that's on the left-hand side and try and hit the stony face guy and 2 of these combatants.
Yeah, then I'll go for that. You know, 3 is worth spending the points on.
Okay. So go ahead and how much you spending?
5, because I have to spend 5 for it to be full auto, right?
So actually you have to spend 1 for the base attack and then 5 for the full auto, so 6.
Okay, so I'm out of firearms then. That is a 12. I rolled a 6 on the dice.
So that is both great and bad, because you will essentially empty the magazine completely of the gun. So that's
I mean, as it
4,
clicks dry,
12.
I obviously drop it and switch to my sidearm, like, you know, like pull up and jump into cover kind of thing.
Do me a favor and roll me 3d6.
3d6. That's a 2, a 4, and a 6.
2, a 4, and a 6. So those 2 guys that are moving into position, you absolutely light them up. Their bodies dance as you hit them, even if they have vests on, blood everywhere, and the 2 bodies drop to the ground. And you will drop at least 4 shots into the stony faced guy, and he will look down, and you will see wings unfold from his back.
Do you want me to roll stability now?
Yes, I think you should roll a 3-point, both of you, stability test here.
Okay.
Actually, I think them surviving And the wings, I'm going to say 4.
Okay. Just going to remind myself how I use bonds again.
You
Here.
can spend bonds to reduce the difficulty.
I can also spend bond points immediately after losing stability to refresh stability points. I see. Yeah, you know what? I'm burning the rest of my one with my college friends, and I'm burning another one with Greg Jefferson.
Okay, so it's difficulty 2 right now.
And it's difficulty 4, you said, right?
Now it's difficulty 2.
Okay, yeah. Well, I will spend 1 from my pool of stability, and I got 5.
Okay, you're freaked out, but kind of keep your brain together. Jim, what do you do?
I will reduce my bond with the Black Disciples, because I think this is stuff they will never ever see. So I am now very different from them.
Okay.
And then I will spend 2.
Okay.
So just mechanically talk me through what that's going to do.
So right now it's difficulty 3. So
Yep.
if you spend 2, you're automatically going to make it. It just costs you 2, and you make the test.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like that.
So we'll see that. We'll come back to you two in just a moment. Susan.
I mean, they haven't seen me. I pop out, look at the room, and then
Your mom is seated there on a couch.
Jesus.
Hands clasped on her lap. You can hear some other people moving in the household. She's kind of looking around, watching.
Yeah. Does that cost me any kind of stability?
Not yet.
Like, how would they
It's
even
going to
know?
depend on what you do right now.
So, yeah, she turns to Marcus. They got my mother.
Does she look like she's being held by force or something?
Can I make a check?
Do you have human int?
I have, yeah, I do have.
Yeah. If you want to make a human int spend.
Yes, we'll do that.
It doesn't look like she's being held a prisoner. It does look like she's waiting, maybe anxious.
And it's really her from her movement, like how I remember her, or would that be? I don't know.
Absolutely. She
actor.
looks exactly like how you remember her.
How many people were in the room?
You see her. There are 2 other people in the room that are kind of like anxiously, like they're waiting for somebody.
Given that Susan has like told her parents that she has no parents anymore.
Yeah.
She will go in.
Okay.
Weapon raised, pointed at the 2 others, and she will say in a voice that hopefully doesn't reveal that she's shaking, "Get down to the ground."
All right. I think that's a intimidation spend to get them to drop.
I don't have intimidation. I have questioning. I'm not sure if that is similar.
Reassurance. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Get on the ground.
Yeah. So then she will say nothing will happen to you. Get hands up on the ground.
I think we're in a combat situation, so I will let the reassurance work, but I think that's a 2-point spend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Fair.
So you're out. You've got the gun on them. You'll put that on them. They'll lay down, and your mother turns and looks at you and says, Why did you let them kill me? Now I want a stability test from you. Difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4.
That's
I
your
was-
mother. That's the
I
smell of her. That's her stance. That's her flesh.
I will spend 3 then. Can I spend 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I got a 5.
Plus 3 is an 8. So
That's an 8.
yeah. So you just lose the 3.
What do you mean? You're alive.
Marcus,
Yeah, I'm just wondering what I'm doing on the other side of the door.
well, let's start with this, shall we? Could I please have you make a stability / will roll for me? You could use as much from stability or will as you want to. The difficulty right now is a 7.
I will burn all 6 will. To get a 10.
So you're going to lose 1 stability as you feel something flooding up into your mind, flooding up into you. And you hear Rick's voice.
Spin round, shoot the bastard.
Okay. Let's have you, I think this is a higher difficulty because we're doing a sort of a blank shot here. Roll me a d6, how much you want to spend on firearms.
Well, can I have picked up the shotgun from the guy at the bottom of the stairs? Because I think no one was going to trust me with an automatic weapon.
Fair enough. I think that's fair.
So I will spend 3 of my 4 firearms. What's my difficulty?
Difficulty is a 6 right this second.
Let's spend all of that then. So spend that down to 0 and roll 2d6 plus 4 for an 8.
8. So 2, and go ahead and roll me a d6.
A 3.
2, 4. So Rick is there. Like you can almost just see him emerging up out of the floor, rising up out of that. And I think there's a second, we have this flash of him rising up out of the floor of your basement, like just for a second. And when he's talking, he's not moving his mouth, but you hear it in your head. And you hit him, and these false teeth come popping out of his mouth. And you'll see his face change, and you'll see the jaw gets wide of these double rows of teeth. And he says, Doctor, I so wanted you with us. We'll come back to you two in just one moment. Jim, one of these figures has unfurled. You can see the other one unfurling. You see them raise up their hands. You see that they have eyes and mouths in their hands as the two of them are flying towards you. There's still one guy with a gun who's a significant threat who's left in here as well. What do you do? You're muted.
I think timing-wise, this worked quite well.
Okay.
Gene shot them while I threw the flashbang. They transformed as they're flying towards me. The net gun.
All right. I think you can hit potentially one of them with this. Go ahead and make that attack roll.
I will spend all 4 points in non-lethal firearms.
Okay.
And let's see what we get. Clearly, I've got a refresh roll with me. D6. That's a really good 9 in total.
That's a 9. So that will wrap up this thing. It doesn't fall to the ground because it's clearly not flying by those wings, but you will wrap it up. Gene, they've got another one coming towards you. You've still got a guy who's going to going to be shooting at one of you two in this round.
I'm going to throw a flashbang at them.
Okay. At who? You saw the flashbang didn't affect the two big guys.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? There's a guy who's going to shoot. You know what? The bullets didn't affect the big guys either, did it? Really, from the looks of things.
Oh, it did
didn't
hit
really
them. It did damage.
It did damage. Did it seem to cause them any sort of pain or like?
Doesn't seem like they feel like you do.
Yeah. I was just looking at my 0 in my firearms pool and thinking maybe I'd be better off using my taser. But sod it, you know what? I will just shoot them. I will unload on the flying. Always shoot the flying monster over the gunman, I think.
Okay. So go ahead and roll. The hit threshold is a 3
Okay.
because they are big.
They are big. Well, that's a 50-50 chance. There's no really way I can make a pool for firearms, is there, with any skill?
Only you had military science.
Yeah, the most versatile one. I never thought about it that way. That's a 3.
So 3. So go ahead and roll me a d6.
That's another 3.
14. So you are firing off as this thing is closing in, and it is on you, and it puts its hands on your cheeks. Yeah, it is going to spend, I think, 4.
My to hit threshold is higher because I have 9 in athletics.
Ooh, so I need 4, so that's 3. So it's 3, 6. I will give you 1 for the vest on this, but it puts its hands aside and they bite into your cheeks and start gnawing, and then it's like that. But the thing is, it strikes you that starts to gag as you pull back, is you feel their little tongues licking and secreting into your cheeks.
Can I have hit it maybe a couple of times as it comes up, and then it does that, and then like what makes it let go is I scream and fire at point blank range, right, and it tears away from my skin.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
And blood and golden pus are running down your cheeks there. And you can feel that these are not going to heal for a very long time.
I don't expect to walk out of here.
Jim, you netted this thing. It is going to spend its action. Give it a 1 to 6 on that. So it burns its action, but you see it flex and stretch, and it grows another foot bigger, and it will snap that net off.
Okay.
And the other guy on the ground is going to take a shot at you. Your hit threshold is a 4, right, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, so
what's your
I've got
athletics
10 in
generally?
athletics total, but I've
Yeah.
used 2 points.
Doesn't matter. What's your base athletics?
10.
10. Okay, yeah. So I need 4s to hit you. This guy is will just hit you.
Fair one.
So 2 points, but your vest will take 1 of those.
Okay, reducing health.
People, the sort of the non like combatant people with the guns are screaming. They have never seen this. They've never seen anything like this. They are running for the doors. That is clearing out some of the people, but We've got one floating angel that's up there, one floating angel that's by Eugene, and this last guy who clearly knows the score and is firing. Susan, what are you doing? You're standing there.
Do I hear the shot?
Yeah, I think you hear the shotgun down below.
I wanna, wrestle myself away from my mother,
Okay.
and with raised guns, see what's going on, behind the door.
You look down and you see Marcus and you see Rick crash down there, facing down.
I immediately fire.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
I would like to spend. How much do I have left? I want to spend 3. Yeah, I want to spend 3.
Oh yeah, I should mention, and I'm not going to give you the thing, but yeah, Rick is transforming, teeth falling out, double mouth changing as he becomes his true shape.
About the auto burst, though.
So you have so you can do a 3-round burst. You do a 1-point spend for your attack, and then you can spend 3 more firearms points.
Yeah.
The other option is you can do full auto.
Mm-hmm.
And I should realize I should have mentioned this too. When you do full auto, you can spend from firearms or athletics. So if you want to reach shift your point, I just realized that you have to spend at least 5, but you can spend from either or both.
Because I've not spent any on athletics. I've not had the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I will do full auto then.
Okay.
So
what are you spending from?
So I have the 3 in firearms. I have 7 in athletics. So how much do I have to spend? 1 for the
total
thing?
you need to spend
6.
is 6.
So 3. So I spend 3 on athletics as well. That would be 4 then. And then I rolled 6 plus. What do we have to roll?
D6 plus 6.
D6 plus 6.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is an 8.
So that is an 8. So you're going to get 2 instances of damage on Rick.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and roll me 2d6.
Is coming up. D6. That is a 7.
So we've got 4 minus 2. So you will hit him, and he definitely feels that, and takes a step back between that and the shotgun. Dr. Evans, as the what do you do?
I'd like to make a preparedness roll.
Okay.
To flash back to Pete pushing 2 phosphorus grenades into my hand, saying, God forbid you need these, Marcus, but if you do, throw them and run.
So let's have you make that preparedness roll.
I will spend 3 on that preparedness. And that gets me a 7 in total.
So I think you have a phosphorus grenade.
Fine. So if Rick is kind of back.
Yeah, he's about 10 feet away from you.
Oh, I don't want him that far away.
Yeah.
I just want him off balance.
Okay.
If it's 10 feet, I have to run up to him.
Okay.
And a combination of unarmed combat and athletics to drop the phosphorus grenade into his shirt.
Okay.
His mouth.
Well, I'm not
Let me
sure
ask you this question.
Yeah.
Is this you still being by him when this phosphorus grenade goes off?
Oh, and then I keep running past him.
Okay.
It's a very uncomfortable situation to be in.
Then let's have you roll the athletics test to get hit on him.
Okay, I will spend 4 of my 5 remaining. For an 8.
Okay. I am going to spend against that. So I think you get it into his shirt. You keep running down the hallway and you hear the as that goes up behind you, kind of drop down, and you see him walk out of the flames towards you, phasing, kind of passes through a little bit of the wall there as he comes your way.
Lying on the ground, roll over with the shotgun.
We'll come back to that in just one moment. Mind you, he couldn't do what he planned to do this round because he had to spend his resources and actions to avoid being burnt up by that, but he is coming your way. Susan, what's your athletics base?
7.
7. So your mother comes up behind you and gives you a hug and kisses you on the back of your neck. And it stings.
I'm trying to push her away.
We'll come back to you in just one moment. Agent Oliver. Now, mind you, you burn through your gun with the full auto fire, but you still have some firearm skill left. And I apologize for not quite getting that right last time, but we'll adjust. This thing is up by you. It's got those hands, those eyes there. What do you do?
We're in a temple, right? Like, so
Yeah,
we're in a
like a
place with lots-
church,
like a
maybe some
church
pews, big
with
big
pews and
eaves.
everything, right? Yeah. I would like to drop a grenade and leap back behind a pew as I leap behind a pew.
Okay. So this is an athletics test.
Mhm.
This is more a question of whether you can get out of the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how much do you want to spend on it?
I will spend 3.
Okay. So just don't roll a 1.
Yeah. Love it when you say that. Wait, I rolled a 6. I didn't need to spend anything.
So go ahead and roll me 2d6. Each of those be -1. So 5 and 3 is 8.
And I think it's as it, rocks back from her and that gun, and she staggers back and lifts her hand up to her face and all that gold pus, and then she just fumbles with a attack belt thing and pulls out the grenade and goes, "Fuck you!" and then just rolls backwards over a bench and drops the grenade down.
It will blow up. You'll see bits of this flesh go tearing and flying, and this body throws itself over the pew with its last strength, and it goes to kiss you. And it will just barely do it. You are going to take 2 points. And you're pretty sure you swallowed something. Kind of pulls its mouth away, blood and golden liquid, and it raises up its hands with the eyes. It kind of shifted into mouths, into eyes, and kind of pulls back. Jim, got the angel that has escaped from your bondage. We've got one guy left, and we have this other angel that is Jean has leapt away from this grenade, and it's smoldering, just barely holding itself together angel body that has leapt over on top of her and is clearly trying to kill or infect her.
Okay. I would love to save Jean, but this one that sort of puffed himself up, he's still at a distance, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to create a pool with architecture. I am going to lob a grenade high into the eaves. I want to try and bring this down on him. You know, so I want to look for a structural point of beams where I think one of them would, you know, collapse and maybe a bit of roof would fall on it. Trying to
Okay.
pin it on the ground at a distance.
Let's do this based on margin of success. How much do you want to put into this?
Well, I'm going to create a pool with architecture. So
Okay.
I've got 3 there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, so it's athletics, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Let's add another 3 from that. So I've got a pool of 6, basically.
Okay.
Let's see where that gets me. Not a bad roll. 9 in total.
9, 1 does that. Roll me 2d6.
Rolling now. Now that is good.
So
we've got a 6 and a 5.
well, you've got a 5 and a 1.
Oh, you rolled the 6, did you?
Last roll by Paul Jim was a total of a 6. It was broken up into a 5 and a 1.
I see what it's done on the screen. Sorry.
So he will throw that out, and it will go up, and it will like blow a chunk of the side of this thing off, and then it will swoop down towards you. Let's see. I will spend that. And it will swoops down, grabs you up, hefts you into the air, and it throws you at the ground. Margin is that. So you're going to take 6 points of damage. I will let you apply the vest to that. It picks you up, flies up into the eaves. It's still smoldering from this thing, and it flings you down to the ground. Just smash.
Okay.
The other guy who's there is going to take advantage of that and put a shot in you.
Okay.
But he will miss, firing you as you hit the ground, and misses. I'm going to cut back to the others, and we'll return back to the adventure there. Susan, you're in your mother's warm embrace.
Things though.
What do you want to do?
Well, as soon as I feel that you know, the pain, I turn around and push her away and shout, "You're not my mother." And I will put bullets into her. Not sure if that stability cost I will survive, but
all right. I think she's not a strong woman. I think you can push your way out of her arms and turn around, and you can empty your clip into her. I think that's a stability 6.
I think so too. Let me have a look at my stability. Can I spend the 3 that I have?
Yeah.
I will do that. Takes me down to 0 again.
You just don't want to roll 1 or a 2 at this point.
I don't. It's a 5. Oh, it is a 2 actually. I rolled.
Rolled a 2 plus that, missed that by 1. So you spent 3 and you're going to
Mhm.
lose an additional 6.
Holy shit. That is now -6. That something happened by
Okay.
-6.
You have to choose a break state: fight, flight, or collapse.
I mean, the fight.
Is lose control. You just start shooting anyone and everything here. You are going into just absolute ultra violence. Man, woman, child, you don't care.
Sounds about right.
So mark that you're -6. You're at a and mark fight. Also reduce your maximum stability by 1.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, by 2 actually.
Okay. At -6.
Yeah, you are shattered. Your difficulty is increased by +1, and you can't use your investigative skills. You hear gunfire, the shriek of this woman up there, Marcus, and Susan's guttural cry from the heart as she snaps.
Yeah, the feral screaming from upstairs as I on my back kind of go away from Rick, just bang, pumping shots into him as I say, because I think the penny has dropped. I think that maybe I'm getting some flashbacks of what's gone on. Maybe I'm getting some flavor of he was in that hospital room with me.
I need you to listen and wake up now, doctor. I need you to wake up. He's moving forward to you. Even he's clearly taking some damage. He's reaching out, clearly reaching into your mind. You have just one chance before he's going to take over
mind.
you. Let's have you roll. What's your firearms?
Currently 0.
Then let's have
I
you
give
roll.
it to him good. That's a 3.
That will just see if threshold is a 4. Shotgun will go wide. The other barrel go as another pump. He will.
Jeez. No, it's okay.
He will. You may make a stability or will to resist him.
How much?
Difficulty is 7.
Okay.
And don't forget, you can spend negative.
Yeah. Well, let's begin by turning that 7 into a 5, because I suddenly realize what I've done to my brother. So I'll burn 2 of those, which gets it down to 5. I know now that my career I can't go back to the CDC. This is just madness. So I will spend both of those down for the team. But I still think my wife loves me really. So I'm going to leave Joni alone.
So I believe you
spent
took it
4.
from a difficulty 7 to a difficulty
3.
4. 3?
I've spent
Okay.
4.
All right. So difficulty 3.
And now I will spend 3 to resist this and shoot the bastard again.
So go ahead and mark that 3 off.
I have.
What does it take you to?
That takes me to 3.
Takes you to
Marcus is a very solid citizen
Very solid
psychologically.
Well, we will come back to you in just 1 second as you chamber another shot here as he's coming in, reaching out. He says, you need to wake up. I'm going to awaken that in you. I'm going to wake you up. Agent Oliver.
Yeah.
This angel is on top of you.
Oh, still, Jesus, I thought I was dead. Well,
just barely holding together.
Yeah, I'm going to choke on whatever it did down, and I guess I'm gonna whip my combat knife out and bury it into its face.
Okay. Hit threshold is a 3, unarmed.
Okay. Would that be melee?
Yep.
Yeah. So I will.
Yeah, not unarmed. Sorry. What am I thinking?
No worries. I will spend 2 points of melee. So
Okay.
guaranteed to succeed that way, right? That's a 3.
That just hits. Roll me a d6 -1.
And I can't roll mine. Can you roll -1 on this?
Yep. Sketching its modifier down that.
Oh yeah. I keep trying to type it in and it keeps going wrong. It's only a 2.
2. That is just enough to drop this fucking thing. You drive that in there, and the flesh kind of collapses.
Its mouth, right? Like as
Yeah.
it backs off, like as it opens its mouth to kiss me again, it's straight through.
Straight through.
Yeah.
And like you saw with those those fake kids before, that child over and over again, that flesh, and kind of like now it's like just warm sandwich meat falling on you.
I think as it like collapses, right? Like Jean just like pushes through it and like flops over onto the ground, retching, right? Like, choking on whatever's there.
Absolutely. Jim, I've got there's an angel and a guy with a rifle who keeps shooting at you.
He can shoot at somebody else. I'm happy with that. I mean, he doesn't have to shoot. Or is it pick on the black guy? No, I'm going to go for the angel.
Okay.
Now, again, need a little bit of mechanics help here.
Sure.
I want to unload a full auto burst in it, but I've only got 3 in firearms. Can it be
You
done?
can spend athletics alongside that.
I need to spend 6.
6 total.
Okay. Firearms down to 0 and athletics down to 2.
Okay. Let's have you roll.
Just 1d6, yeah?
1d6 to the 2 for hitting, yes.
Okay. Let's see what we get. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So that will empty that gun. So you will empty that clip, but I need you to roll me 3d6.
Okay, now it's going to add all this together.
Yeah, I do.
6, a 6, and a 1.
So it will take that and that. Center mass, solid hits. Will shake itself and down at you. But you can feel like you feel like that shook it. But
I wanted to do more than shake it.
yeah. What is your hit threshold? Is a 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will spend that. So that will be 6. And then, so you are going to take 10 points of damage.
Okay, 1 off for the flak vest.
Yes.
That takes me to -7.
Yeah. He swoops down, hits you, and buries the fangs that are in its hands into your neck. And just as it pulls back, blood goes everywhere. So right now, you are at +1 for any general test difficulty. You can't spend from your investigative, and see the health thing. Quickly check that because we haven't gotten to this health level before. All right, I need you to make a consciousness roll.
Okay.
Difficulty is what are you at, negative?
-7.
Okay. So you need to make a difficulty test at difficulty 7. You can spend from your health pool to try and stay conscious to get that difficulty 7.
So if I spend from the health pool, that reduces me even further, yeah?
It does. But you only go dead at -12. So you've got some wiggle room.
Yeah, let's spend another 4 and go to -11.
Okay.
I rolled
You
a 4.
keep yourself conscious, blood everywhere. You're just get covered with it. This guy can't get a shot because the angel is in the way. It's right on top of you, pulls back. You feel that just like the venom going into your bloodstream as it kind of raises that up, those hands, those mouths that smile at you as it looks down at you, and it smiles beneficently. Meanwhile, Susan, I think I would like you to roll me a d6.
Mhm.
I think on a 1 to 3, I think you can move back towards Dr. Evans. I think on a 4 to 6, you're going to start walking through the house.
It's a 1.
So you are furious, but there is still shit going on downstairs.
Yeah. Just not aimlessly, but wildly shooting while walking down the stairs at Crash.
Firearms.
So this is the last stuff. I'm at -2 because of the shattered, right?
So right now, the difficulty to hit him is a 5 because it's normally his hit throws is a 4, but you've got an increased difficulty of 1.
Isn't it an increased difficulty by 2?
No, it only increases by 1. It's that
cool.
your max stability reduced by 2.
Oh, nice. So let's see. I will make a pool from athletics as well. I mean, I spent everything. This is the thing. So 4 athletics and 3 firearms. Gives it. Can I do the full auto then?
You need to spend total of 6 to do full auto.
5. Shit, what was it? Undo. I can't do it. I think 4 and 3 is 7.
Okay, so you can spend that all if you want.
Yes, I will.
Let's have you roll.
D6 plus 7. That is a 13.
All right. I need you to roll me 3d6.
Nice. Coming up. 3d6. That is another 13. 5, 5,
Just
1.
the whole chest as that full auto catches him, sprays out across you, Dr. Evans. You feel that him die in your head there. Just the body shakes and he will come crashing down on top of you. And it's the last thing he says is, "We made you a new god." And then he's out. What do you do, Dr. Evans?
I scrabble out from underneath him as quickly as I can.
Okay, room is on fire from the phosphorus. You can see Susan's just walking down, continue to blaze away. You're afraid she might start shooting at you. She let full auto right by you.
I will try negotiation and reassurance. It's okay. It's me, Susan. Susan, it's me. It's Marcus. It's me. How much do you want
to attempt to snap her out of this?
I do.
Okay.
How much do you want me to spend and turn that into a psychotherapy pool, perhaps?
So right now to the difficulty for breaking somebody out of that. So you're going to need to spend 4 points to snap her out of it.
Okay, so if I spend, if I think it would be logical for me to spend 2 interpersonals, negotiation and reassurance, spend that down to 3.
Okay.
That gives me a pool of 6 to play with, and I will spend all 6 as a psychotherapy spend. If you're agreeable.
Are you okay with that, Susan? Break you out of the fight state?
I mean, I'd be fine with shooting Dr. Marcus, but yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I think you'll break out of that.
I think she says, "You're one of them," like pointing the gun shakily at you.
He was talking some shit about having made me a new god. It's me. It's me. It's just Marcus.
What do you say to snap me out of it, though?
I think it's literally that. You know, we had that conversation. Remember? It's only about in the now. It's only about now. Don't think about what's happened. Don't think what's going to happen. Just think of now. It's me. It's Marcus. We're okay. He's dead. You did it. You ended it.
I think she drops the weapon and kneels next to you.
And I think that they will embrace over the corpse, the smoking corpse of Rick Kresh, the monster.
Absolutely. Dr. Evans, can I please have you make a stability/will resistance roll?
I have 3 stability left. What's my difficulty?
9.
Jesus. Possession by the spirit of Rick Kresh. Jesus God.
Oh,
Okay.
Someone's at the door. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
I will spend my remaining bond with Joanne to make that an 8. I will spend. When does stability go off the edge? -6.
-11 is when it finally goes snapped.
But I do not want to have to mark fight, flee, or collapse at the moment. So if I then spend 6, 7, I can get down to -5 stability. That is 8. That is the 9.
Roll.
So when you say roll,
I always like to have you roll on this. Just for my practical things.
that's a
there.
1.
Oh, yeah. So it's a good thing you spent all that. What does that take you to, Doctor?
That takes me to -5.
Okay. So again, difficulty numbers for general abilities tests are at +1. And you will hear in your voice, I don't believe we've been introduced.
What?
And you see this figure coming down the stairs. My name is Art Stanley.
Oh, shoot the bastard, shoot the bastard, shoot the bastard.
We'll come back to you in just 1 second there as he's walking down towards you and Susan down there. Susan's probably in your arms. The thing he was saying in your head was just snap her neck. Agent Oliver, heavily wounded Angel on top of Jim. Jim is bleeding out. Don't know what's happened with the others. There's another guy there still with a gun.
Yeah, but I think I'm retching and I hear Jim scream, and I just like whip up and I shakily pull out my pistol, and can I do a called shot on the Angel?
They are resilient, so a called shot's not going to do anything extra.
Okay. Can I just? Well, I mean, I'm trying. Can I hit them with my taser? Oh no!
Try.
Like, did that hurt it last time? I can't remember. I think my best bet is just going to be to shoot it, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Okay. Moving up on it, taking those shots.
Mm-hmm. I guess because I don't have there's no loaded assault rifle, is there, that I can steal? Because Jim's was unloaded as well.
That's
wasn't
right.
it?
But if one of them had been still functional, then yes, but no.
No, yeah. So it's just my pistol. So they have a hit threshold of 4, I believe, don't they?
3, because they're so
3.
big.
Because they're so big. So I will spend 2 points of firearms.
Okay.
So I'm gonna need 2 more to try and kill that guy if he doesn't kill me. That's a 6.
That'll hit. So margin is +2. Go ahead and roll me a d6.
A 6.
Holy moly. Yeah, this thing actually staggers back from that shot on top of the massive bullets that Jim put into it there a moment ago.
I'm gonna yell, Jim, run!
Jim, what do you do?
I will stagger to my feet and shank it.
All right. Make that melee attack on it.
At -1.
Yep.
I will spend 2
So
points.
hit threshold is a 4 right now.
Okay, I'll spend 2 points.
Okay. So that's a 6.
6.
Go ahead and roll me a d6. So
Another 4.
-2. And the knife is in it. It staggers back, just barely holding together. And it will look at you. And it will raise its hands towards you, Gene. You're going to lose 5 health.
-8.
Yeah. As you feel it drag the essence out of you to heal itself.
Oh, nice. I think it's like a cut down to her knees, right? And then it coming out of the pores of the where her skin's all
blood
ragged
and
as
stuff
well.
goes into its hands, where the eyes and the mouths are greedily sucking and drinking. And I think actually the other guy, like, this may be a little bit too much for him. I think he is fleeing out into the night at this point, because the angel is in very bad shape. It's visibly hurt.
He's not staring in holy rapture. He's oh God.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's thinking that he could be next. But it is standing there drinking up, the gaps in its flesh re-knitting there. What is it going to take to kill this thing?
I'll tell you what it's going to take to kill it. Basically, I'm going to use unarmed combat, hold it, and just pull a pin on a grenade. Me and him.
Let's have you roll that unarmed combat roll. You're slick with blood. You are wet with it.
I will spend, I've got 7. I'll spend 6. The 1 might come in handy.
Okay. Grab onto him, pull that pin, Gene. You'll see the grenade pin go flying. You'll realize what's going on. And then
roll as far as I can away from it.
You will see Jim and this thing explode. Marcus, Susan, Art Stanley's there, and you see him actually stagger back, like suddenly, like he's thrown off by something. What do you do, Marcus?
Susan is currently helpless, isn't she? In the sense that we're just hugging on the ground.
I mean, she can still act. You've cleared the whole, I just need to kill everyone from her.
Okay. So I could just stand over and put my arm around her neck and just break it, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could easily.
Yeah, well, that's the impression I give while I jab her with one of my remaining 5 doses of knockout drops through the wide bore syringe.
Okay.
And I hope that gives him the impression that I've turned as she slumps on the ground.
Are you cool with that, Susan?
I'm cool. I've nothing left to spend instead of like blowing myself up as well.
And Marcus, you've got a moment here before he's going to realize what's gone on.
And I begin to unstrap the flak jacket as I walk towards him.
Okay.
And then I'd like to spend my remaining 3 preparedness to flash back to a conversation with one of those mercenaries that my brother told me to stay away from.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to him, if the worst comes to the worst, and I'm up close and personal to someone, what's the only way to take them out and survive? And he pushes something at me and says, you just strap this to your chest and pull the string. And he gives me a claymore, which I've had strapped under because I've not taken any physical harm so far. Strapped under my flak jacket as I open the flak jacket towards him and pull the string. But I ought to make sure that flashback happened first.
Let's have you roll preparedness. How much are you spending?
All 3 that I have left.
Just don't roll a 1.
Okay, thank you for that. That is a 6 altogether.
Have that claymore. All right. You may use firearms or demolitions. The question here is not whether you can hit him with it. The question is whether you're going to hit yourself with it as well.
Yeah. You know, whether I'm open wide and I'm blown backwards as the blast goes forward. I would offer you unarmed combat and or athletics.
Either one.
I will spend the 2 from unarmed combat, something that Marcus has not done in a long time. That is a 6 altogether.
So that is a claymore on him. Please, I think it's reasonable to, you're thrown back.
Oh yeah, I'm going to take some harm.
As this blasts into him before he can phase out. You've caught him at that moment, and false teeth. The body kind of shifts as it goes, and just pieces go falling to the ground.
And some moments later, Marcus regains some degree of consciousness because I must have taken some harm, mustn't I?
Oh yeah. I think there's a montage of the 3 of you dragging out of here. Fire has spread. I think we see the 3 of you staggering out into the night. There are bodies splayed across the compound. You will drag over to where there are vehicles. The ones that those mercenaries came in, they are all dead.
So is Pete, I'm guessing.
Your dead brother Pete is dead. They are torn apart. You can stagger and drop into the seats, drop Susan's unconscious body into the back of this, and you can drive out into the night.
And Marcus turns to Jean and says, "Where's Jim?"
Jean just does not fucking answer. Just like tear goes down her face, like through this ragged, ruined faces, that just stares on the headlights in the street ahead. Camera pans out.
Then Marcus drives away.
Let's do epilogues. Jean, in the immediate aftermath or in the long-term aftermath, what do we see of you?
I think the aftermath is Jean like covered in like bandages on her face, sat down in you know, like a plain office room kind of thing, and that guy who gave Jim all of the money, she's sitting there, and it's, you know, she's clearly all fucked up, and she's like, you know, the program has been compromised. I need to know if you're part of the problem. And she's just got a gun trained on him.
Nice.
You know.
Jim, what is the aftermath of your legacy in all of this?
I think we see a small section of Chicago ghetto really over a period of time coming out of being a ghetto, and you know, people doing well for themselves. That money we gave to me more, you know, she's been able to spend it and people are better. Something's been achieved.
Nice. And Susan, what is the aftermath for you?
I think we see Susan somewhere in the woods in a cabin. She's obviously hasn't taken care of her, you know, hygiene for some time. And there's like computers everywhere. There's the like all the information that she could find on the prophets of Megiddo. And she's, you know, the ashtray is completely full and she's just typing, staring at the screen.
And I think there are files that you've gotten, files that point to an incident in mid-America, some sort of alien grays, but a substance of flesh, not unlike this flesh that was seen. And then this more, an incident, the old Delta Green from the 20s, maybe 30s, stories of an expedition that went into the mountains that killed a god and then fucked that up. Something there, something used to resurrect some kind of dead god. Yaglanak? Glaki? Hands? It just doesn't make any sense. Dr. Evans, what is your epilogue?
I think that we see Evans pulling up at a rural, it's a sunny day, it's a small town somewhere. We see him pulling up at a kind of one doctor surgery where you know, Dr. Evans, everyone treated, kind of is hanging over the door. And he goes inside and he nods to the lady he employs on reception, and then he goes into his office and throws, you know, just relaxes. The facade falls away, and we see a deeply damaged individual who then reaches into his pocket and pops a whole load of tranquilizers or some prescription opioid or other. Just to stay ahead of the dreams and the voices. I know you're not there. I know you're not really there.
I think we'll leave it at that. So that's our series. Thank you all very much. I appreciate with the bump that we had, you all coming back for this. So let's do like final thoughts, final impressions, wishes, anything you want to say here as we get to the end. I will say it's been a pleasure to run. It's been a pleasure to run. All such a good group, willing to share, playing smart. We never bog down in too many, like the planning where it gets away from us. You're willing to buy into the flavor and go along. and solve problems. So it was good. Will, can I start with you? Thoughts?
Well, obviously, I really, really, really enjoyed it. You know, I wish for everything to go sideways, and it really did go sideways. We ran into a pair of murderous angels, which I would never have expected, but they were horrible. And so a big start for how horrible they were and how unkillable they were. Because as frustrating as it is, it was also like, why won't you just fucking die? You know, like, and you know that the guns aren't going to work, but what else do you have, really, at the end of the day? And you know, stars to everyone for how we've played, like the game, the character stuff. Jim for getting to the explosives before I could. I was being like, I can only think of one solution here, and someone's going to have to run, or we're going to murder us both together, basically. But it got solved. And yeah, all the prep flow, my hat's off to you. It was all really consistent and believable and paranoid and consistent in the uncertainty as well as, you know, everything. It was really excellently done. And that was a great shit show of a last session.
Good.
Just
Good.
screaming and shooting things. It was great. Yeah, so thank you. Thanks for running this as well.
Oh,
you know,
awesome. Thank you so much. Paul.
Yeah, really great. Awesome set of players. Really liked it, and you know, you really did deliver it loads there, Lowell. Yeah, some really great GM. My only slight criticism of the system, Lowell, is first aid becomes this sort of insty health back within one round.
Yeah,
I can't offer you too much of a suggestion about how to improve it, but maybe keep sort of -1 on the player, even if you do bounce their health back up, to show that they're still knackered. I understand why the mechanics.
Oh, no, but I absolutely agree. I think that may be a way to track that. Like, if you go down that much, first aid can get you up to a certain amount, but like, you're still going to be down. Like the max stability thing. Like there needs to be a way that's easy to track. But yeah, I agree with you. Especially when we're doing it in kind of rounds where we're doing fast stuff, rather than I'm taking time to narrate that this is eating up time to bandage people up.
Yeah. If it was a long wait, then first aid works brilliantly as it is. But I think if you sort of apply it in a round, I think there should be some effect that the player suffers for having it done so quickly.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will keep that in mind for next time.
Yeah, I like the system, and I think you compared to Night's Black Agent, it was a lot more visceral. You know, it was hard, not just here, at various other stages in the adventure or campaign. It's also been hard. So yeah. Good.
Well, it's one of the things I'm glad, because you're a group that's willing to do the tracking on it, which is always my problem with like big scale Gumshoe, is there's a lot to track. I actually think it's easier to do it online than it is at a table where you're having to erase and mark and stuff. So I'm coming around to Gumshoe, but with a little change. The pushes, the investigate, I like but yeah, I think this was a little bit easier for me to run than doing the PBTA style resolution when push come to shove. So I thought that was an interesting discovery.
Kudos, Lowell, very good, and everybody.
Horst.
Well, I've been with the Gauntlet since, I think, 2017. And I always said my favorite campaign ever was Night Witches, that David Rothfeder ran, like, again, 5 years ago or something. I've changed my mind. My favorite campaign I ever ran, and I played on the Gauntlet, is this.
Oh, good.
So thank you very much. It was amazing. I love long form, obviously, and seeing the characters develop and deteriorate mainly was awesome. Great set of players, awesome GM. Delta Green is probably my favorite setting, I have to say, so that helps. Yeah, that's it. It was just amazing.
Thank you, by the way, for going along with me to pull your NPC onto the table. In that way, and I loved your reaction to that it felt real, like your reaction felt honest and truthful to the moment. So really good stuff. I love Susan's arc through the whole thing. That's been a pleasure to watch. Actually, everybody's arc has been dynamite, but yeah. Alan.
Yeah, I mean, just on the first aid one, yeah, I think there's something about spend it to get people to 0, and then maybe whenever there's a scene, spend another one to improve it. Comes to me that would make it more gradual. Was just what was in my mind as Paul was speaking. But no, I have no wishes at all apart from to do this again sometime. Stars. Yeah, Horst. Susan started out really, a bit of a kind of tight ass, I thought, and the arc was fantastic. I no longer have any parents. Oh yes, you do. They're dead, and they're going to turn up in the last but one scene. That's just fantastic. And there's a subsidiary star for you all there for bringing them back. Jean Oliver, the sassy, hyper confident at the start of this, at the end is just beginning to think about I'll just bite its tongue off then. That'll work. Anything will work. Yeah, I did that really, and the I just throw explosives at it. Great. Paul, always able and willing to do the honorable thing. If no one else will take it out, I'll blow myself up with it. You just should have thought of the Claymore trick. Grenades are so last century. So yeah, no, all of that was great. And I like the kind of the epilogue for Jim, that money, that I'm still pretty convinced that was the cults and the conspiracy were throwing that money in to try and implicate him somehow, and get him thrown out. But good to see that having some effect. Yeah, I mean, Lowell, in terms of games of the year, my game of the year last time round was in fact the quarterly that I played in of yours this time last year. It's going to be a tough act to follow, this one, I have to say. I think the kind of swinging from not a lot happening, but everyone is scared shitless, to oh shit, a lot's happening, was just delightful. And your touch on the tiller here and there, just to kind of oh no, not that. Was masterly. I think that these have been some of the best sessions I've ever seen. So thank you.
I will say that is one of the strengths, and people we don't talk about enough, is one of the things that a quarterly can do is it gives you the chance to like we do a game that's at a session or two that's at this pace, and then we swap. Like you really have a better chance to do that. And that's maybe one of the things that was really good here that was maybe a little bit missing in like the Nice Bike Agents long term, is it kind of kept escalating rather than like we had a little bit of downtime, but we didn't have a chance to really kind of move back and forth in terms of speed and such.
Well, yeah, I mean, last session, I think I counted 4 dice rolls in 3 hours, and yet it was tense and engaging. We don't need no stupid dice.
Well, thank you all very much. This has been a pleasure. I'm glad it worked. And Will, thank you for asking for this. And it was Horace. It was great to have a chance to run for you. So, I am going to stop the recording. Get my